Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? So today we are going to mow this field, and before I go any further, let's do the weekly question. I have got a, I'm going to be using a big baler for doing straw and stuff. A square baler is what we originally talked about, and I have decided that for doing the cattle, for the silage for the cattle, we will use round bales. Now I'll either use a round baler, one of these somewhere, like maybe the case or that Kuhn there that I've got, and we'll use a wrapper to wrap them all up, and we will feed the cattle silage like that. We won't use clamp silage. So I'll either use the two separate machines, and I'm hoping to get a modded wrapper done for me. It's something special that's in the works, but I don't know yet if it's actually going to work. It might not even be able to work out. So I can either do that, or I can get the new Kuhn DLC wrapper and round baler combo, which should now already be out by the time you're listening to this. I'm recording it ahead of time, so it's not actually out yet, so I don't know if there's any delays or anything like that will have come up. But we're hoping that that would be the case. So I will try and get that one in fairly soon. It's your vote, it's your game. Head in the comment section down below, let us know which one you want, and of course don't forget to actually cast your vote in the top right hand corner for the one that should have come up. I had a long, hard look after recording yesterday's episode in order to see if I could find a trailer or anything that will pick up those small bales automatically. I thought that would be absolutely fantastic, because I would like to, ideally, bale this entire harvest with small bales, and I can't find anything anywhere. The mod has only just come out, so I guess it was a bit of wishful thinking, really, that we would get something like that. However, I have decided that despite that setback, I would still like to do all of this field here with small bales. Now, I'm not really sure how well this is going to work going around the edges with the trailed mower on the inside like this. It's leaving a strip, isn't it? I think maybe we'll, if we lift that one up. No, not that one. Actually, I'll lift them both up. I should be able to, if I press Control V, they should both lift. I think you've got to do it twice to make it work. There we go. So we'll do that, and if I switch to the back one, and then I can turn him like that, and you can use keys to do that as well. You don't have to use the mouse button like I just did. I know I'm now driving on the grass, which is costing us yield, but I think it's a small sacrifice that we will have to make. Right, now if I press Control V again, it should lower them both down. Right, so let's try going around in this wise direction and see if we leave a strip behind. It does look like we're going to leave a strip whichever way we go, which is a bit unfortunate. Maybe if I bring the mower a little bit in behind the tractor, I might just have to do that. I might have to just swing the mower in slightly so that it doesn't take quite so wide a width. It does seem to be working. There, come out a little bit maybe. So we'll get all of this field cut, and then we don't have... for some reason I thought that we had a rake, but we don't. So we will... Now, what am I going to do here? I think what I'll do is I'll come around a sharp corner. We will just accept that we lose a little bit on the corner there. I'm going to do a couple of rounds on the field, and then I will start working on the land work, just moving up and down. We'll see what the tractor is like, because we can engage the hired help when we're actually working on the field itself, on the bit that's actually classed as field. So that would be quite good. But we're going to need to lease a turner in order to turn the hay, and then we're going to need to lease a rake. A rake is the word I'm looking for, so that we can row it all up, and then we'll get our baler up here and we'll bale it all, and we'll at least have the bales on the ground. And as it's the last episode of this week, it will give us a few days that maybe, just maybe, a modder out there somewhere will have created a mod to pick up the bales mechanically before next week. I very much doubt it, though. I'd be genuinely surprised if that does happen. It'd be pretty cool, but like I said, I'd be genuinely surprised. Right, for potatoes, no, we don't want potatoes. Oh, that's a nice touch. It used to be that it would just disengage the the driving, the cruise control. It would completely disengage it, and then you would have to re-engage it after the notice come up. It didn't do it then, because one of the complaints that people were having was that when those things came up, the tractors and everything would stop quickly, and if you had like a load of bales or something on, it could actually cause quite a major issue, and you'd lose all your load. It'd be spread across the road or something like that, which is never a good way forward. Right, I was actually thinking originally that this would possibly take up a couple of episodes doing all the mowing and everything, but now I think that what we'll do is we'll try and get it all done today so that we've got bales on the ground, and so I'll show you sort of a little bit of each section as we get through it. So how am I going to do this? I don't want to leave too much on the corners, but at the same time I want to give myself enough room to turn round. I think we're doing okay actually. It does seem to be just getting it, because I've moved the mower ever so slightly more behind the tractor. It seems to have grabbed it alright. Because what I'd like to do before we finish this episode, I would like to have this field full of little bales all up and down the field, and that is really going to bring back the days when I used to do it. It's for me personally mainly, because it's something that I used to like to see, although I never actually I did see other people doing it, but I never actually personally did a field of small bales individually along on the floor, because we always used to use what is known as a flat 8 sledge, and it would put the bales in a 4x2 configuration on the ground, and then you would come along with a grab and you would pick up the 8 bales. And I know that other people, I've never seen them in the UK, but I do know that there are bigger ones around. I know that some places, especially in the States, where they in the areas where they still use a lot of small bales, it's not uncommon to see a sledge that will put the bales down in configurations of 12 or 16 or even higher than that, in a great big flat pad that is then picked up after the harvest, or after they've been baled rather. So yeah, anyway, I'll do another couple of rounds around the field, and then we can see about doing some land work and see how the hired help copes with using these two mowers, and whether they'll actually be able to turn them round properly on the headlands. Right, the hired help is going up across here on the first pass. This bit's fine, and they'll just straighten it up. I can do that little bit over there afterwards. But what I'm curious about, let's get rid of the map so we can see this a little better. What I'm most curious about is how it's going to cope with turning on the headland. It doesn't seem to mind, the whole issue that we've got at the moment with hired help not performing properly. It hasn't sort of had an issue with that. It's actually going to go and do the short run instead of the longer run, by the look of it, and drop down on those two. So I would be quite curious to see what's it doing now. Right, so that is definitely something that's not quite right. It's travelled halfway across the field without actually lowering anything down, so we can assume that that is an unintended bug. So let's start those two up again, and that one, and then I should be able to lower them both down like that. Right, so we know that the hired help will take you to the end of the row, but then it won't turn around properly. There's not a lot that we can do about that. I will finish this field, and then we can go and get a hay turner and turn this field of grass into hay. I've got most of it done now. Just got this last bit here. I reckon another 3, maybe 4 rounds, I'll have got it completely finished. And I do seem to be getting through it fairly quickly. I'm quite surprised. I do have to keep the mower in ever so slightly. I can't have it sort of completely out to the side of the tractor as far as it would like to go, but that doesn't seem to be holding me back. I am covering the ground at a fair pace. I was originally thinking that I would like to use the reverse drive and the set of butterfly mowers with this tractor, but I'm not entirely sure if it would cope. I don't think... I mean, I've tried it, and it really does slow down a lot. So I think, really, it's just a tiny bit too heavy for this tractor. So maybe later on in this series, when we've upgraded this Valtra for another one, or we've switched over to a Deutz or something like that, there's... I know that the Deutz have got reverse drive and the Valtra have got reverse drive. I don't know if any of the others have, but I will get a bigger tractor with a reverse drive, so that we can try the butterfly mowers on backwards, because that is just something that looks... Everybody's seen that in the preview video. It just looks epically cool. There is no denying that that just looks very, very cool. I would very much like to see that. But anyway, now I'm just going to finish this up, and then I will see you back here with the hay turner. I will go and get one. I'm not actually sure which one I'm going to get. I know in Sosnovka I asked you about which one you wanted me to get, but I've asked no such question on here. So I will see what... I'll just see what I feel like, because I know that we've got some new ones coming out with the Kuhn DLC, so maybe I'll just try the very biggest one that this game has to offer, and then we'll try the Kuhn one later on. I'm not quite sure. We'll have to see, because haymaking is something that we're going to have to do a fair bit of on this map. I know that we will be doing it on Sosnovka as well, but this one in particular I would like to do a fair bit of that. So we will get the chance to be trying a variety of different machines while we do it. I decided to go for the Lely because we haven't used it before. We used the Pottinger obviously in FS15. I used it quite a lot in FS15. This one here, it's sort of semi-trailed and semi-mounted on the 3-point linkage, but you look at the hitch joint on that, right? That's way out. So when you turn, it's actually kind of swiveling the machine a lot further out than you'd expect. What it also means is that the swivel is taking the strain as far as the PTO is concerned. The PTO coming off the tractor is not having to twist and bend at all, which is actually a really clever idea. I really like that. How it's going to work out in the field, I'm not quite sure. I did take our mowers back to the main yard, but then when I got back there, I thought, you know, it would actually be a lot quicker if we went and stuck them over in that shed over there. Because I don't think we're going to need them elsewhere. I think up here is the primary place that we'll be doing mowing for at least a little while. So I will do that with this one. So let's try unfolding it. I want to sort of get in close and see how it works out. I would guess that those wheels actually fold up. Comes down. Oh no, maybe the wheels don't fold up. Maybe it just sort of stays trailed like that. I'm going to have to be careful. This one is only half a meter shorter than... I think I see how it works. So let's lower that down. Right, so it uses all of the wheels, but they do kind of turn... I'm guessing that they would actually have to push ever so slightly sideways then. Just the way that the trailed thing works. I'm not quite sure about that. We'll investigate it a little bit as we get further around the field. It does... It sort of rotates slightly, so you don't have it levered up into the air. That works quite well. It's got like a rotation joint there, and it does twist and bend quite successfully as well over the really rough ground. So I'm trying to sort of see what it's doing and describe it and steer all at the same time. It's not very easy. So what are we... It's when it's turning sharp. We need to get round the field, and then we can start doing some sharp turns in the field and sort of see how the wheels cope with it and how it's designed to sort of deal with that situation, because obviously that is a situation that would come up. When you're turning hay, you never ever drive over the crop without the machine going. So you need to be able to turn in circles with a turner. You would not lift a turner up and then drive over crop that you've already turned. That's just a complete no-no as far as turning hay and making hay is concerned, because once you drive on it, it's squashed down into the ground. It can't get the air in around it, so that the breeze can't help dry it out, and also it makes it a lot harder for the moisture to escape anything that is underneath the surface. So it needs to stay lightly fluffed up. That's sort of 3/4 of the point of doing the turning, is to fluff everything up. Right, we're just coming up to the corner here, so we can sort of see what it'll do as we turn, and we won't have the hay in the way either, so that might make it a little bit easier for us to see exactly what we do. So let's just go slow now, and right, now I want to turn very sharp. I want to see what it does. It's not... Is it pushing it sideways? It's what we want to see. Right, it does push it slightly sideways, and it doesn't look like those wheels turn either, but it does. If you have a look, there's pins in those wheels, so I would guess that in actual fact those two wheels on the back of the tractor are solid and they stay there. But I would guess that when the machine is in use, there doesn't seem to be an option for that. My guess is that those wheels should be able to rotate, so that when you turn tight corners, it's not going to sweep them sideways. That would be my guess anyway. I'm not quite sure if that's accurate or not, but yeah, we can see. But I'm going to carry on and do some more turning. I did say that I would like to have finished all of the baling today, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'll do a little bit more work on this, and then we've got to get a rake so that we can row it all up, and then finally we need to get the baler back up here so that we can actually do some baling, and then I'm going to have the monumental task of having to collect all of those bales by hand. I think that is going to be a long, slow slog, and if that's what we're going to have to do, I will be spending a bit of time on camera doing that, as well as a lot of time off camera doing that, so we can all share in my pain. Just trying out the hired help here. I did use it going up there, and then I switched it off when it turned round. I'll let it do it itself this time on the turn, just to see what it does. It does look very cool using this machine. I am quite pleased with this one. I think that's quite sort of satisfying to watch, really. And the amount of time that we got left, I don't really want to rush through baling up an entire field too quickly. So I am thinking that I will we'll just get the rake and we'll row up the field this episode, and then beginning of next week is when we'll actually use the baler in here, purely because I don't want to there's all these different things that we can do, and I think that using that baler in a big field of hay is going to be really an amazing experience, and I don't want to rush through it. And it's something, like I said, I've been looking forward to for a long time. We did a few yesterday just to sort of get a feel for the baler, and I asked you to tell me yesterday what you thought of the different mods and starting to use a load more. Still talk about that again today in the topic of conversation, but what I would also like to ask you is to discuss, I've got a field over there that is now ready to combine. How badly do you want to see me do all of my combining? Because I seem to spend a lot of time doing it. I seem to spend, as soon as I've got everything planted and I can sort of start looking at some slightly different jobs, then combining is doing again. And I'm thinking that, yes, I'd like to show you some combining, but I don't want to spend all my time doing it. I'd like to, maybe I'll bring the combine up and we'll just set it going in the field. And then we can carry on and bale up this field with the small bales, and then we could even go in there and do that field with small bales as well. However, I'm only doing all of the field with small bale straw if I have a mechanized way of collecting all the bales. I am not picking up all of those by hand. It's going to be bad enough that I've now decided I'm going to try and do all of this field by hand. So the mod came out on, I think it was the 8th or the 7th of February, the baler mod, and so I'm hoping that someone out there has been able to find a way to make a trailer that will gather them up automatically. If anybody, and I mean anybody, thinks that they have found a link for something that will gather up those small bales mechanically, please put a link into a comment in the description, in the comments section. I will look at it. It very likely, if you add a link, it'll be thrown into the spam folder. I always check messages that are in the spam folder as well, the comments that are in there, and I very often, unless it's something that I think is completely unsuitable, I will approve the comment and then everybody gets to see it. I'm not quite sure how YouTube works sometimes when it's filtering comments and stuff, but so yeah, I will take a look at whatever you decide to offer me, and if I can find something suitable, we could end up doing all of the straw with small bales as well, which could actually be pretty cool. I think that would be something that it would certainly be different. It's not anything that we've done so far in this game, and I didn't do a huge amount of small bales in the last game, apart from at the end of what was it called? The Old Time? No, it wasn't Old Times. It was Higher Hills. I did it in Higher Hills, didn't I? I modified the baler slightly so that the volume was 10, and then it kind of turned it into a bale-powered rocket that got launched across the field, which was highly amusing, but not very sensible. That's not the kind of thing that we would normally indulge in. So who knows? Maybe we will have an episode where we mess around on this map as well before we finish everything up. I got one pass left here. I will fold this one up, and I'm going to put it over in the shed over there. And then I'm going to go and get a rake. And as we don't have one, I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to go for yet. There's a couple of them that I'm considering. I'll have a look when I get to the store. I'm just getting back up to the field now, and I have gone for the Lely rake as well as the turner that we used. I've got a smaller rake that I've been using on the time lapse. I've done a little bit with that one, and I haven't used this one yet. I did consider actually getting the great big crone one. I think that's actually a modded one rather than a vanilla game one. You know, I'm not actually sure. Let's have a quick look. Yes, it is a mod. I was considering getting that one. So for now, we're going to go for this one. I know it's a bit overkill, but I figured why not? Let's try it out. That one there, we used that one in Melbury Estate back in FS15. But there is another one like that coming out with the Kuhn DLC, which is why I didn't go for it this time. Just come in here and start unfolding up. Oh, this thing is a beast. I don't like the way that it slides the wheels sideways like that. I feel that I don't know if it would actually do that or not, or are you supposed to drive along as it does it so that it doesn't damage the wheels? I feel that might actually spoil the wheels a bit. It doesn't feel quite right on that. I've got to be honest. Yeah. Right, let's get going on this. And then there's something I want to talk to you about. I completely forgot about it for the last couple of episodes because I've been so excited about this little square baler. I've so been looking forward to using the little square baler. This thing's pretty cool. I like this. It's fairly compact design compared to the Crone one. It feels like it's more compact, although as it's going around the corner, I'm not sure how well it's sort of keeping the wheels from dragging sideways too much. We'll see. Let's not worry about that too much at the moment. So anyway, I had a couple of people point out that in last week's episodes, I was referring to the cramp trailer incorrectly. Or that was actually previous to last week's episode. So it's not cramp. You pronounce the E. So I said, well, it's either got to be crampe or cramper. And I thought maybe cramper. So that's what I was saying. So yeah, I can't remember exactly how I was. Crampy or cramper, I think. But it turns out that is actually wrong. And I think it's MWLS 159. That's their YouTube username. And also Joe Peterson have both pointed out that actually I got that completely wrong. And thank you very much for pointing that out. I do dislike, as many of you know, I hate getting things wrong like that. So the correct pronunciation is actually an accented E. So it's It's actually pronounced So it's the correct name of those trailers is Cramper, not Cramper or Cramp, anything like that. It's Cramper. So from now on, I will try to make sure that I remember to pronounce that correctly. Cramper, not Cramper or anything similar. So yeah, that's something that I meant to mention earlier in the week, and I completely forgot about it, but I have now done it, so I have fulfilled what I promised I would do to the people who pointed out this horrible, horrendous mistake that I made. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 rounds, and then we're going to start moving up and down on the land work. What I would often do with the Crone rake is I would do once around the outside, then start doing the land work, leaving a gap in the middle. And I suppose really I should be doing that with this one as well, because we don't need 3 rounds on it. Let's go down to the end here, and then we'll start doing it as I kind of would do it in real life as well. You don't sort of work in completely, because very often there's not enough room to turn around properly. So I lift it here, like this, then spin round, and drop back down, like this. There we go. And then start moving back up here. Now, it doesn't really matter which side we go on, we just keep the lines. You can just have the lines perfectly straight if you want to, or you can follow the contour of the field. I think this time we're going to follow the contour of the field rather than dead straight lines. He says, thinking about doing it differently. No, I'll keep going like this. It's actually my timer to say that we're running out of time. My weekly question this week, I am considering getting, well, I'm not considering, I am going to be doing all of my silage for the cattle that we've now bought. I'm going to be doing that as round bale silage rather than doing it as clamp silage, purely because it's something a little bit different, and I like to do things a little bit different from time to time. So if we do it all as round bale silage, we'll still do some clamp silage. We'll do that at the biogas plant, but we won't do it for the cattle. So in order to do round bale silage, I either need to have a round baler and then get a wrapper afterwards and wrap everything up, or I have in the Kuhn DLC that is coming out, the new Kuhn DLC, I get the round bale wrapper combo. So which one would you like me to get? The round bale wrapper combo, try saying that 10 times really fast, or use separate machines. And just before you make your mind up, someone is in process of trying to make me a modded wrapper that has got some very cool artwork on it, which I think is going to be absolutely fantastic if they're able to do it. And obviously, if you choose to have the separate machines, then if that one is successful, you'll be able to see that in action. If not, I will sort of show it a little bit, but it might have to wait until a later episode before we actually use it properly. But anyway, it's your vote, it's your game. Head in the comment section down below, let us know which one you want and why. See if you can't persuade other people to vote for the same one that you're voting for. And of course, don't forget to actually cast your vote by mousing over in the top right-hand corner. I will just stay here until we've completed this field. I'm spinning round again. I reckon another couple of passes and we'll have completely finished it. And then what I do is I go round once more around the edge and do the tidy up run, which makes everything neat and tidy when we come, and then we can come in here with the baler later on and bale everything up. Now, because we got quite big windrows here, I suspect we're going to have an awful lot of little bales in each pass up across the field. And I was talking about it before. I've seen lots of flat 8 bales in this country, and that's what we used to do. But I did once see someone in the UK leaving them flat on the ground. Now, I know in other countries people have mechanised ways of collecting the bales that require them to be left flat on the ground. And so when I seen this person working on a very big straw field, and this was in sort of in the middle of our country, and there we have some very, well, the middle, but to the south, if anybody understands what I mean by that. Basically, that's where a lot of straw and corn and everything is. Oop, that is not the way to behave. I just completely smashed that one and probably shredded my tyres as well. Goodness me. That's how to lose your job in one easy lesson right there, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, I seen this bloke working in this field. Now, this field was not a small field. This field, I would estimate, was roughly 1 mile long and about half a mile wide. So, quite a big field. And he went in there with a small square baler, and he started baling. And he baled for several days, because it does take quite a long time to bale with a small baler. So he was there for days and days, baling and baling and baling and baling. And eventually he finished, and he did not have a flat 8 sled or anything like that, and all the bales were left in a line right up across the field. And it did look quite amazing to see all of these bales laid out on the field. I'm not going to lie to you, it did look absolutely amazing looking at that. However, he had no mechanised means of collecting these bales, and he then spent the next 3 weeks gathering all of these bales by hand, on his own, I might add. The poor bloke, I really did feel sorry for him. Obviously, I couldn't do anything to go and help him because I had my own job to do at the time, and I was a teenager and didn't have the guts to go and say, could I go and help this poor bloke, because look at him. But it was commented several times about how long it was taking this poor fella to do this job, and how long it was going to take him to do all of it all together. Yeah, I really did feel for him. And he went and he just slowly worked his way up and down the field with a tractor and a trailer, and he slowly picked up all of those bales by hand, every single one of them, and carted them off. I've never seen anything like it, and I do not envy him that job. I would not want to do that myself. Yeah, we've always, like I said, we've always used flat 8 sledges and stuff like that, so that you do get sort of a bit of it is mechanized where you pick them up. Now I'm guessing that we are actually supposed to drive slowly while this one's pulling in, so that you're not shredding the tires. That is my guess. That's how I'm guessing it's supposed to work. You're also not supposed to drive over the windrows because you can drag them all over the place. Yeah. We'll just pretend that I didn't do that. So anyway, if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. I apologise that we didn't get quite as far as I would have liked to have done today, but I think that we did accomplish quite a bit. That is all now ready for doing the baling. So we'll be doing the baling on Monday next week. I will bale up that entire field with small bales. That is my solemn promise to you. And if I can find a mod that will allow me to collect the small bales mechanically, I will bale up this field here with small bales as well. I think that could be pretty cool, having a big harvest of small bales laid out in sort of stacked up in the sheds near where the cattle are. I think that would be absolutely fantastic to be able to do that. But that is all I got time for today, so thank you very much for watching. Oh, I keep doing this. I keep trying to. I'm about to sort of say goodbye, and then there was something else I want to say, and I suddenly forget what it is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The combining. I would like to hear your views on how much of the combining you'd like to see, because obviously now that we got more land, it's getting to the point where I could spend all of my time on my videos combining, and I know you're not going to want me to do that. So let me know how much you'd like to see, how much of a variation. Do you like watching like the cultivating and the drilling and stuff like that, or would you rather I sort of did those bits in the background and like set it going at the beginning of an episode and then forget about it for the rest of the episode and concentrate on looking at unusual mods and different things? Or do you want to see a fair share of drilling, cultivating, combining and all of those other tasks in between? I really do want to hear about that. But anyway, I really have run out of time, so until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.